in this world, when you do any activity, the foremost goal of that activity is pleasure, not just relief from some pain. For example, when you eat food, what is your goal? You want to taste the food and you want to relish the food. And reducing the hunger or relieving the pain of hunger in the belly is secondary. Your primary thing is you want to get a taste in the tongue. Similarly, when you travel in a train, attaining the destination is a very important thing. Of course, secondarily, you also may want a comfortable journey. But imagine you have a very comfortable journey in a train in an AC coach, but the train doesn't move at all. Then what is the use of a comfortable journey? The goal is to attain the destination. Similarly, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a verse which says, Yasyam Vaishruyamānāyam Krishne Paramapurushe Bhaktirutpadyate Pumsam Shokamoha Bhaya Apaha. It says when one engages in hearing of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the glories of the Lord, Bhaktirutpadyate Pumsam, love of God is awakened in the heart of a jiva by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Primary result. And the secondary result is Shoka, Moha, Bhaya are driven away. Lamentation of the past, illusion of the present, and fear of the future. They are all driven away. So the primary goal of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is to awaken love for God, and in that love for God experience greatest joy. Now why should we experience greatest joy? Because the greatest joy is the birthright of every jiva. Because all the greatest of the scriptures say that. Like in the Taittiriya Upanishad, there is a verse which says, Raso Vaisaha Rasam Kiyevayam Labdva Anandi Bhavati. This verse says that the absolute truth is a bhandar of ocean of rasa, which means he is filled with bliss, and he experiences the bliss and expands the bliss by exchanging love with all his part and parcels. And the tiny part and parcel jiva also feels great joy in exchanging bliss with the Lord, Anandi Bhavati. By coming in contact with that supremely blissful person, the jiva also experiences great bliss. Just like when an ant eats a sugar cube, he starts jumping and dancing happily that I enjoyed the sugar. But actually the sugar is like a big mountain of sugar. He just tasted one small bit of it and he feels so much happiness. The jiva also feels happiness by coming in contact with Krishna. Now, for the jiva to enjoy such happiness, he has to work in alignment with Krishna to experience that bliss. For example, in Rasa dance you will see, all the gopis are dancing with Krishna in a very united fashion. So the dance comes out very beautifully. Like I have seen the Sankirtan in Radha Gopinath temple in Bombay after the Sunday feast program. The Mridangam players play in coordination with the Kartal players and Radhanath Maharaj plays on the harmonium. He sings. So he's singing, the harmonium playing, the beating of the Mridangams, beating of the Kartals, and the dancing of the devotees in steps. Everything is done in coordination. Then it comes out very beautiful. Everybody relishes in the heart, and the Lordships Radha Gopinath are very pleased by the Kirtan, Sankirtan. So, this is actually the spiritual world where all living entities exactly act in coordination with the Supreme God. The Lord experiences bliss, and the jivas also experience bliss. But if somebody out of false ego beats some instruments improperly, say kartals, or he takes mridangam and plays wrong steps, or in the rear end of the temple he is beating a jambe in a different direction, that spoils the case then. Similarly, in the material world, you will find the jivas are busy with independently enacted activities. In tamoguna, they are lazy. In rajoguna, they are crazy. So Prabhupada says the material world is filled with lazies and crazies. So the lazy and crazy living entities create a mess in the Lord's very beautifully united performance of very joyful dance and kirtan. So therefore the living beings have come to this world. That independent mentality is causing trouble to themselves and for others also. Prabhupada gives a simple example. Sometimes parents are giving children, you take this toy, you take this toy, you take this toy. Everybody is having that toy and they are all playing peacefully with their own toys. Parents are also happy. Suddenly you find that one child wants to take the toys of every other child, snatch it. And that's why the trouble starts. So the material world, Prabhupada says, people who are lusty, they want to catch anybody. People who are angry, they want to beat anybody. People who are greedy, they want to loot anybody, he says. And of course, everybody is allowed, you can have your wife and live with the family peacefully. But if you want to catch anybody else's hand, or you want to beat anybody, you want to loot anybody, then the material world becomes a messy place. Then the parents have to tell the child, hey, don't create disturbance. Be happy with what is given to you. That's why Lord says, Sarvadharman Parityaja, Mamekam Sarvam. Hey, listen to me. Don't do your own thing. You nonsense. I have already made the world Ishavasya Midam Sarvam principle. You take your quota and be peaceful. Don't beat anybody, don't loot anybody, don't cheat anybody, don't catch anybody. But the living entities who don't listen, they are called asuras. Then the Lord sees some living entities are so asuric in nature. Just like when a boil grows so big, it is so big that you cannot give medicine. Only thing is, cut it. Therefore, some asuras, only they have to be liberated. There is no other alternative. And there are living entities who are not asuras. They are devas like Indra, but they are little mischievous. They are like mischievous children. Then they have to be given some punishment. And through punishment, they are rectified. But those who are not so bad, not so mischievous, but who are feeling some anarthas in the heart, who may do mischief in future, for them, there is devotional service. You start devotional service, and before the anarthas can manifest outside, you purify the heart. Then as we purify the lower nature of kama, krodha, lobha, they should be driven out. But the goal of life is not to just drive out kama, krodha, lobha. That is not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to awaken love for God, and with that love for God, align ourselves with Lord's plan, and by aligning with Him, make the Lord happy and become ourselves happy. Like for example, the 3 fingers should come together and then put a signature. So then I am Radheshyamdas, I am happy with that. But if one finger is having a wound, the other fingers are not able to put sign properly. So the finger is not pleasing me and the finger is acting independently. So similarly, the diseased living entities have this kama, krodha, lobha, and they want to act independently. So acting in alignment with the Lord only is a perfect method of life, pleasing Him and pleasing oneself. Now some people argue, if everything is done in alignment, jo bola so karo, life would be boring. There is no thrill, there is no adventure. Sometimes there is some adventure in doing some mischief also. Correct? Na? And that is more joyful than doing everything in coordination. Therefore, you will find both the Lord and the living beings sometimes behave in an independent fashion, ultimately to increase the bliss of one another. For example, Hanuman went to Lanka. He was only told to find Sita, but he also burnt Lanka and came. So Lord Rama was very pleased with Hanuman for bonus service that he did, which he was not even told. So Hanuman's acting independently pleased Ram or displeased Ram? Pleased Ram. You will see that. You will see that in the same manner, the Lord also sometimes may put His pure devotee in an awkward position. Like for example, Lord Krishna put Arjuna in the battlefield in an awkward position of weeping and scolding him, and finally spoke the Bhagavad Gita. So the devotee is ready to be sometimes put in an awkward position by the Lord, unexpectedly, suddenly. Like Lord Krishna took away the power of the Gandiva bow from Arjuna towards the end of the battle, so that Lord Krishna wanted to see Arjuna safe, not misuse. Then Lord took him back to Godhead. So the devotee is also ready to allow the Lord to put himself in an awkward position. The Lord also allows devotees to do some action that will even surprise the Lord. For example, Radharani and the gopis wanted Lord to come back to Vrindavan. So they put him on a chariot, Subhadra, Baladev, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, and dragged them to Vrindavan. Lord couldn't say no. In this way, even the pure devotees acting independently, not in alignment in general. For example, Shabari is eating a fruit and then giving to Ram, which is not proper, but that pleases the Lord, you will see. So in Raga Bhakti, the devotee acts independently. Lord also acts independently sometimes, but that independent action pleases one another. Whereas the living entity's independent action displeases everybody in the world. So therefore we should know in the path of bhakti, the preliminary step is alignment with the Lord. The advanced step in Raga Bhakti is spontaneous action, which may sometimes appear independent. Like Prabhupada once tasted a little bit bhoga before going to the altar. Somebody said, Prabhupada, this is not offered. Prabhupada said, it's all right. And how you can say that? Because once somebody asked Prabhupada, what are you meditating on? Prabhupada said, I am meditating on Krishna's lunchbox. So somebody who can meditate on Krishna's lunchbox like a covered boy, he can also taste before the offering goes to the Lord. So in the path of bhakti also, sometimes there is apparent independence, but that increases the intensity of bliss in exchange between Lord and the devotees. In this way, we should know the goal of life is not to remove the anarthas alone. The goal of life is to experience the bliss of loving exchange with the Lord. Anandamayo abhyasat. Rasovai saha. Shastra says that. And how does that bliss arise in Lord and devotee's heart? By alignment. Making our will one with Lord's will. This is where we have to begin. That's why he says, Mamekam Sharanam Braja. Surrender only to me. Don't create a mess. Just cooperate with me. Because I know what every living entity needs, the Lord says. Understand what he wants from the Shastra and just align with it, that's all. And thirdly, I was telling you that sometimes if a pure devotee or the Lord doesn't align with what is expected, that non-alignment also increases the bliss between Lord and devotees because they both excite one another and they both increase the intensity of bliss between their exchange by behaving in such ways in Raga Bhakti, which is a very advanced platform. We should not imitate that. We should only fold our palms and adore that. So the chanting of the holy name in the preliminary stage will drive out impurities, in later stage will awaken love, and in Raga Bhakti will increase the intensity. Anandambadi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Aswadanam. Harinam Prabhu ki. Let us offer our humble obeisances and to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are just like desert trees or ocean of mercy, full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnava vrindaki Vaishnava Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki